I've been assigned 100 Nvidia shares and suffered a loss of 490 US. Now, to be fair, this wasn't something that was unexpected. I've always knew that if I sold weekly put options, at some point I would be assigned. And in this video, I'm going to share with you what happened since day one, the total premiums that I've collected, and what happened that cost me 21,000 USD to be the proud owner of 100 Nvidia shares. I'm in Japan right now. For those of you who are not familiar with me, I've been selling weekly put options to test the wheel strategy. And over the past few weeks, I've sold 5 weekly put options. The first 4 have expired safely out of the money, meaning I get to keep the premium. But the 5th put options, I got assigned. And in total, for the 5 weekly put options, I collected a total of 745 USD premiums. Now again, I want to clarify, this is not something that was unexpected. I knew that if you consistently sold weekly put options, at some point in time, you would be assigned. Now that being said, I was still a little bit caught off guard because on Friday morning when I checked the price of Nvidia, it had rebounded from 212 to 219 USD, which was why I thought my option would expire safely out of the money. But lo and behold, by Saturday morning, it had dropped to about 205 USD. Now, thankfully, I had chosen Nvidia to be the stock that I sold my put options on and not some meme stock. And this is the option that finally got me assigned. I sold a weekly put options on Nvidia. It was about a 4 to 5 days expiry date. The strike price was $210 and I collected about $120 in premium. At that time, I find that it was a relatively safe put options. I was about $10 off. Mind you, I'm selling a weekly put options. That means I couldn't sell too far out of the money because the premiums collected wouldn't make sense. Unfortunately, this time the market moved against me and I got assigned at $205. So I went to read out very quickly what had happened. Apparently, the jobs data released in US was quite strong and that fueled fears of the Fed's increasing interest rates. And so across the board, a lot of share price tanked, not only just Nvidia. And that's how I got assigned 100 Nvidia shares at $210. Which means now I'm the proud owner of 100 Nvidia shares costing me 21,000 USD. And technically, because the price today is at 205, I've made a loss of $490. But at the same time, I've collected $745 in premium. So that kind of offset the loss and I'm still profitable at this point in time. However, seeing the hit on my premiums did frustrate me. And to be honest with you, this is the time where fear starts to creep in. Because now you are owning 100 Nvidia shares and my imagination starts running wild. What if Nvidia price starts to tank even further? Or worse, what if Nvidia becomes Facebook like it was in 2022, where the share price dropped by more than 50%? The real strategy itself is very simple, but managing my imagination, that is very tricky. So to put numbers in perspective, over the 5 weekly put options, I've collected about 745 USD in premiums. As of today, on a Saturday, Nvidia price is at 205, meaning I suffered a loss of $490. That means my premium balance is about 260. In other words, I've lost about 65% of the premium that I've collected. And now the experiment enters into the second phase where I start selling weekly call options on the 100 Nvidia shares that I own. Like I said, for now, I'm very comfortable holding Nvidia shares. I believe Nvidia price will go up, unlike meme stocks. That said, it doesn't mean Nvidia price cannot tank further. In fact, in all possibility, it could. And my worst fear is, suppose I sold a call options below $210 and I got called away. Then I would suffer a huge loss. And just talking about it now during recording sends shivers down my spine. I have to constantly reset my mind so that I can make rational decisions. Otherwise, I could end up just selling away my Nvidia stocks when the market reopens. Then I would have suffered actual loss. But like I said, what I need to do now is to start selling call options on the 100 Nvidia shares that I own, at the same time to continue collecting premium. Now, a very simple and quick explanation on what is call options. It's simply me giving the buyer the options to buy my 100 Nvidia shares at a certain strike price. And this is the part of the view strategy that I'm really curious with. I'm going to test whether the second half of the view strategy can really generate income for me. I want to see if I can collect enough premiums and even sell Nvidia at a higher price. So if you're interested to see how this pans out, Whether I make a loss or gains, do subscribe and like as I document my experiment on the view strategy publicly.